Here, so excited for this thyroid webinar. We got a bunch of people jumping on right now, and I'm just really excited about this information because thyroid issues are an absolute epidemic right now. And a lot of people's issues are caused by the thyroid, right? If you're gaining weight and you're exercising and eating better and not getting results, or maybe you're just fatigued all the time and nothing's working, brain fog, right? You just can't remember things. You're losing your hair, nails, skin. I mean, these are all, your typical thyroid symptoms that doctors are not diagnosing. And the thing I'm most excited about today is I've simplified everything you need to know and do into 4 simple steps. The thyroid becomes very confusing for a lot of people, and I've been able to simplify it. And that's why we're launching this thyroid webinar, is to get that information out. So again, I know everyone's busy. Please stay on to the end of this because this information literally changed my life. It changed my mom's life, my family, and all the thousands of patients we've been able to reverse thyroid and autoimmune diseases. So what we're going to kind of go over today is my journey, what I went through, and what you guys can do to overcome thyroid issues and get your life back. And I'm going to go over again the 4 causations and simplify them. And I'm going to teach you guys how to figure out which one of those causations that you have. Okay, because this isn't a cookie cutter situation here. Everyone's different. You need to figure out what is causing your issue, because for every person, it's different. And once you find your cause in today's webinar, I'm going to give you simple steps to actually start to treat it. And then I'm going to answer any questions that you guys have at the end. I'm going to also, I have a thyroid ebook I'm offering, but you have to stay on to the end of the webinar to get that book. And I'm going to give that to everyone. And again, there's only so much information we can cover in this webinar. The rest of it, I all put in this simple step ebook. So again, please stay to the end. I thought this was funny here. Before we get started, we've exhausted all conventional measures. One last desperate option is to put you on an alternative natural medicine that has a 96% success rate. And I just think this is hilarious because the things that we do, and I'm going to teach on this webinar, work. A lot of people think you have to take a medication or surgery. That's your only option, and that holistic treatments don't work as well and they don't work as fast. And that is completely untrue. We literally have a 96% success rate following these steps with reversing Hashimoto's and thyroid conditions. And that's why I'm so excited to bring this information to you guys. So the 4 causations of thyroid dysfunction are gut imbalances, toxicity, adrenal fatigue, and infections. So really, if you fully address these 4 things, I guarantee you're going to get 100% better with your thyroid issues. These are the 4 things. They're in depth. But again, if you treat all 4 of these things, you're going to get better. And I've really refined these over the last 10 years. And the reason I've been able to figure these out and simplify them, because unfortunately, I personally went through all 4. It really started out with a lot of gut issues myself. I had some major toxicity issues as well, and really just super fatigued, couldn't even get out of bed in the mornings because of adrenal fatigue. And I had multiple different infections, one being Epstein-Barr virus that I had to deal with to overcome that Hashimoto's. So we're going to jump into all 4 of these today and really educate you on how you can figure out which one of these you have and how to treat them. So a little bit about me. I started the Root Cause Medical Clinic, now known as Axe Holistic Medicine, and we're really leading a holistic movement in Tampa, and I was able to overcome Hashimoto's, and I've just been on a lot of different TV shows and kind of sharing the truth about thyroid and what an epidemic it is. So, and with this information and this thyroid program we put together on this webinar, we want to reach 100,000 people and reverse thyroid and autoimmune conditions. And I think I'm the most qualified person really to do this because I reversed my own Hashimoto's. My mom had thyroid issues and cancer, and we were able to completely transform her life, and she's in the best shape of her life, really. And, we know this works. this information because I've reversed thousands of people in my own clinic and just seen some amazing results. And we've been able to simplify it for everyone that's watching online so you can really do this from home and kind of learn the secret sauce of reversing thyroid conditions. So this is actually my blood work here. Again, I had really bad eczema, impetigo, insomnia, and just did not feel well. And I finally got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and you can see my antibodies were 289. And you're not supposed to have those antibodies at all. That's your immune system. That's how many immune antibodies that are attacking and killing my thyroid right here. And this was just 3 months later. My antibodies went down to 85. You can see here at the bottom. It's these protocols that we're going to go over today is how I did this. And this is even cooler yet. 9 months later, under 40. That means no, it's low enough that I clinically don't have Hashimoto's anymore if it's under 40. And again, I just shown this to you guys because it is possible. If you've lost hope, please don't. There's answers, solutions. I went through it. I know I can help you through it. And the crazy thing is, I spent $6,000 on lab work alone and $3,000 on doctor visits to get all of this corrected. And I've simplified this on this webinar so you can do this at home and not have to spend the $9,000, $10,000 that I spent. But again, it was, if I had to do it all over, I definitely would have spent the $9,000 again because it completely transformed my life, the way I feel, the way I think, and I'm so glad that I did it. But I understand that people can't afford that, and that's why I put this online webinar and program together for you guys. And a lot of people ask, could this be my problem? Guys, if you have all these symptoms, a lot of these symptoms on the left, it is 100% a thyroid problem. I'm not saying that that's your only problem, but I guarantee you if you go through these 4 steps and you address the thyroid correctly, even if your doctor said it wasn't your thyroid, these symptoms are going to go away. And the reason this is linked to your thyroid is because when your thyroid goes down, your metabolism goes down. So your weight goes up. Sleep problems happen. If your body makes less, if your body's working slower, your metabolism's down, you're going to be fatigued, right? You're going to make less energy. You're going to make less heat, so you're going to be cold. Your brain's going to work slower. You're going to get depressed. Your hair is going to go slower. It's going to thin. Your brain's going to work slower. Again, you're going to get brain fog. Hormones are going to be slower. You're going to get infertility. And your GI tract is going to go slower. Constipation. Again, if your whole body and brain is moving slower, it's 100% your thyroid. And people aren't treating it correctly. And why, the big question is like, why is my doctor not diagnosed me with this? Why is this not being talked about? And the reason is 27 million people suffer from thyroid disease, and 50% of those are undiagnosed. Doctors don't know how to diagnose it. They're not doing the right testing or lab work. And compare that to 16 million people that have diabetes. Everyone's talking about diabetes, but no one's talking about hypothyroid. It is probably if not the top leading causes of fatigue and weight gain and brain fog right now is thyroid conditions, and we're not diagnosing it. And it's a huge, huge problem in America, and that's why I'm launching this webinar. And it's not, it's causing a lot of other issues. It's collateral damage with weight gain, obesity, and if you have hypothyroidism, you have a 2 times more likelihood of having a blocked aorta or heart attack. And 50% of depression issues are just undiagnosed thyroid. And it can also lead, autoimmune types such as Hashimoto's lead to psychosis, seizures, dementia, and mood changes. So as you guys can see, it's not just a thyroid problem, it's affecting the whole body. So I really want to, you really have to be your own doctor and you have to understand how your body works and you have to be in tune. And so I want to just take a quick minute here and go over the physiology of the thyroid so that you can start to treat yourself today properly. So, your hypothalamus in your brain, it's your master control center. It's coordinating everything. And then below the hypothalamus is the anterior pituitary gland. And that's actually what tells your thyroid what to do, and it releases something called TSH. Now, once TSH is released, that goes down and tells your thyroid how much hormone to make. Your thyroid then makes something known as your T4 hormone. And then T4 has to get converted in your liver and in your gut into T3. T3 is the active thyroid hormone. Now, guys, this is really big, so I want you to understand this. There's about 6 or 7 steps that take place with your thyroid. Doctors are only testing your TSH. They're only testing one cycle of the entire process, and that's why it's undiagnosed. That's why you're not being managed and treating properly. So something could go wrong with your hypothalamus. Something could not work right with your pituitary, or your thyroid hormone may not be getting converted into T3. And when you address the 4 causations, you address every single step of this pathway. Right? Adrenal fatigue can affect your hypothalamus. Infections can affect the conversion. Toxicity can affect the conversion. So again, I just want you to look at the physiology. You don't need to memorize it, but if you address the 4 causations we're going to go over right now, you will address all 7 pathways of your thyroid, of the thyroid process in your body. And the crazy thing is conventional medicine has really let us down when it comes to thyroid, because before 1971, it was standard practice to treat thyroid patients based on how they felt, not just on the lab work. People are not being treated as people. We're being treated as a number. If your TSH says this, you have it. If it says this, you don't have it. And literally, you're being treated as a number. You're not being treated as an individual. Doctors are not taking the time to listen to you and figure out what's actually going on. And after 1971, they based it on the labs themselves, and thyroid conditions got much, much worse. So that's why it's so important. And even crazier, contraindications to taking medications for your thyroid is having suppressed TSH levels, but having normal thyroid levels. And most doctors are not looking at that. Another one is uncorrected adrenal insufficiency, right? Adrenals are a big problem, and if they're not corrected first, you're not supposed to be taking the thyroid medication. So again, doctors are not testing, they're not treating for this at all. And the last one is just hypersensitivity to any of the inactive ingredients in the formulation. And that's why it's really important to try different thyroid medications, Armour, NP thyroid, Nature thyroid, because you might just be reacting to something in it, and your doctor needs to work with you on trying different things. Again, you don't know until you try. So again, let's jump into now that you kind of have a background of how the thyroid works, why it's a thyroid problem. Let's jump right into it and talk about the 4 causations here. The first one is the gut. This one is huge because if you have an autoimmune thyroid problem such as Graves' disease or Hashimoto's, which makes up 80% of all thyroid conditions, that means the problem is your immune system. Not necessarily just your thyroid. It's an immune problem causing a thyroid problem. And 80% of that happens here in the gut. So what happens is, again, things that we eat, stress, infections, damage the gut lining. Proteins get and infections get through the gut lining into the bloodstream. That causes your immune system to overreact. And once your immune system overreacts, it starts to overreact to your thyroid and damage it. So again, the gut is extremely important because it now causes food allergies, food sensitivities, and it causes you to absorb infections. And those infections can actually live in the thyroid. So again, I could go on and do a whole 2-hour webinar just on the gut itself. But if you want to reverse the autoimmune condition, you have to treat the gut, okay? GAPS protocol is one of my favorite protocols for rebuilding the gut lining. And doing comprehensive stool testing is a great test to actually look at what's going on in the gut and how to correct it. So, how does a gut issue lead to a thyroid issue? This is how it happens, and this is so important to realize because the order that you treat yourself is just as important to how you treat yourself. A lot of people maybe that are watching are frustrated because they've been to a functional medicine doctor or a naturopathic doctor and they're not any better than they started, or they're only 50% better. And the reason is you've treated yourself in the wrong order. Okay? So here's how it happens. Here's the order. Poor diet, stress, life in general causes issues. It decreases our immune response. It then causes thinning of the gut protective layer. The security guards, right, are damaged. We intake microbes and pathogens. We absorb toxins we shouldn't. This causes a systemic inflammatory response. That systemic inflammation causes damage to the thyroid, and now our thyroid is unable to make thyroid hormones. And our body's unable to make all other hormones, such as testosterone, progesterone, and estrogen. So it's not just the thyroid. But again, this is how it happens, and it starts with the gut and ends with the thyroid. A lot of people that are on here possibly have more than one autoimmune disease, and it's because the autoimmune attacks multiple organs. It's not just your thyroid. So if that if your immune system attacks your gut lining, you can get things like Crohn's or IBS. If your immune system, instead of attacking your thyroid, attacks your brain, it can lead to dementia and Alzheimer's. Now, if your immune system decides to attack your joint lining, you can get things like rheumatoid arthritis or joint pain. And if it attacks the myelin sheath, you get things like MS. So the steps that we're going through don't only treat Hashimoto's and Graves' disease, these steps actually treat all autoimmune diseases and the ones listed here. And that's a really amazing thing about this and why I'm so passionate about treating the thyroid, because I know we can treat fibromyalgia, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, dementia. All these things are treatable by following these 4 steps. So please, share this webinar and the loved ones around you, because this can really, really help. Here's actually my personal results with having major gut issues. I would sometimes get bloated. My bowel movements were not regular, getting constipated or diarrhea. But sometimes, to be honest, I had no symptoms. I was completely fine. And when I did this stool test, I found out that I had a bacteria known as H. pylori, and what that had done was stop the production of stomach acid, and that caused SIBO, IBS, and a whole other host of issues. And by treating this naturally, I was able to completely reverse it. And you can see on the right, the H. pylori was completely negative, nothing in the red. And all my GI symptoms went away, and my antibodies came down. And the thing to realize here is this is just one of the possibilities. There might be 100 different results that would come up on the stool test, but it was able to identify what my individual problem was, and I was able to treat it. And I have tons of protocols on how to read stool testing, how to do stool testing, how to treat it naturally, that anyone that stays to the end can actually get that information. So, but really cool results here, my before and afters, and how I was able to get better through this process. Let's talk about the second main causation after gut, and that is toxicity. We all know we live in a toxic world, and the reason that toxins are a problem is because they trigger the immune system and they block out hormone receptor sites. That means you may have the thyroid hormone in your blood, or the progesterone or testosterone in your blood, but it's not utilized by the cell because of toxicity blocking it. And then this in return causes weight loss resistance. And one of the worst parts about toxicity is it affects your brain. And your pituitary is located in your brain, and that's what controls your TSH and your thyroid. And so again, toxicity becomes a huge factor. And again, this this isn't tested on conventional lab work, and doctors are missing it, and they're not treating the thyroid correctly because of it. And here's the thyroid toxic top 5 to start to remove as much as possible. And again, you don't have to get rid of everything today. Reduce your toxic load. Don't try to get rid of all of it. Just reduce it slowly over time. PCBs and dioxins are found in contaminated fish, meat, and dairy. Pesticides, most commercial foods, and used for home use. Heavy metals, we can get those passed on by our parents through the birthing process, through silver fillings, and environmentally. And there's a great test you can do for that. BPA, we find those in dental sealants, cans, cosmetics. Halogens, also known as goitrogens. Those things are fluoride, chlorine, bromine, and they're found in water, bread, and even flame retardants. So these goitrogens, these compounds like that, again, they put them in our water, and it actually blocks out your thyroid hormone production. And that's why these are so important when it comes to thyroid. And here's a really cool research article proving this. And they found that women married to men who use pesticides have a twofold increase in thyroid disease. So again, this is a direct link to thyroid issues if I've ever seen one. A cool test that you can do online right now to figure out if it's a toxicity issue, vcstest.com. Again, it's vcstest.com. And it's an eye test. And because there's a fat pad behind your eye, if you build up toxins, it causes your eye to not be able to differentiate shades of gray. Again, you can read fine, you can see fine, but this test picks up on it and can actually pinpoint toxicity issues. So just a really cool test that you can do. I actually just recently saw this patient for a follow-up, and she is just doing so much better. She's remembering things now. She's sleeping better, and her nails and hair are getting better. And for her, she came in, her TSH was 0.2. And what that told me was, for some reason, her brain was not telling her thyroid to make enough hormone, and the medication she was taking was making it worse. And we tracked it down that it was actually lead and mercury, heavy metals, that caused this. We tested her, we detoxed her, and a couple months later, her TSH went from 0.2 and shot up to 4. Right? It went up 8 times the amount, and that was just because of toxicity issues. And again, so I see this all the time in my clinic, and it's such an important thing to test for correctly and to treat correctly. Another toxin that a lot of people are affected with, and I actually had an issue with from a leaky shower faucet that the water got behind my wall in my bathroom and caused major mold issues. I got sick 3 times in 4 months and could not figure out what was going on, tracked it down to mold. And these are actually my results. I was present for 3 different mold toxins. So really important to rule these kinds of things in and out. Now, the third cause of thyroid issues is adrenal fatigue. And this is a huge problem in America because we are so stressed out. It really is stress that causes the adrenals to become fatigued, which then causes thyroid issues. And it's emotional, physical, and chemical stress. It's the combination of all 3 that causes adrenal fatigue. Emotional stress from work, physical stress from, being in pain and being sedentary, or even chemical stress from toxins and things like that. So again, the adrenals are affected by stress. So you need to reduce stress in your life. And things like adaptogenic herbs, they help your body adapt to the stress. And really, the adrenals, why it becomes a problem is because of cortisol. That is the huge link between adrenal and thyroid issues. So if you look at this steroid hormone synthesis, we can see cortisol right here in the middle. And our body takes fats like cholesterol, makes that into pregnenolone. And then from there, your body makes whatever it needs. It'll make progesterone, cortisol, or DHEA. So the big problem here is if you're stressed out all the time and you're making too much cortisol, you don't have enough building blocks to make DHEA, estrogen, testosterone, and even progesterone. So the first step into treating your adrenals or to treating your hormones properly is just by decreasing stress, which will decrease cortisol. And cortisol causes a host of problems with your thyroid. So let's talk about the last one, infections. This is a huge one that doctors aren't testing for, and a lot of people just don't know how to treat effectively. Now, an infection could be viral, bacterial, fungal, parasitic, or even mold. And a lot of people are just taking antibiotics and treating bacterial. And when you treat things with antibiotics, it leaves you weakened and open to get infected with a viral, fungal, or parasite. So that's why antibiotics have become really caused so many issues. And for myself, I struggled with viral infections like EBV, and there's a lot of other viral infections people are struggling with. I even had issues with fungal infections on my feet and toes, and again, I had that major issue with mold. So, think about we all understand that if we get the flu, we're going to be very tired because our whole immune system and body is fighting the infection. Now, a lot of people don't have the flu, but they might have a 20% of the flu, right? They might just have a really low grade viral infection, bacterial infection, etc. and it's low, and it's not causing them to be sick, but it's causing them to be fatigued all the time because their immune system is chronically every single day fighting that infection and robbing them of their energy. So a lot of people have a fifth of the flu, constantly, and they're unaware of it. And the big reason this is important to the thyroid is because your immune system's job is to fight infections. So if you have infections, your immune system is going to try to fight the infection. And because it's overactive, it's going to end up fighting and damaging your thyroid. And so all autoimmune conditions have this infectious component to them that has to be addressed. And some of these infections actually live in the thyroid, and that's why the thyroid becomes affected more often than other organs. This is a perfect example of infections causing a major thyroid issue. This is a patient that had Graves' disease, and I really remember it because they gave him medications for it, and it caused him to be very drowsy, and he actually almost wrecked and died twice because of it. And he wasn't sleeping. He was really jittery, tons of anxiety, and he literally medications, the doctors, no one could help, and he came and saw us, and we did all this testing, and I suspected viruses from his history. And sure enough, here you can see cytomegalovirus high. That was positive. Parvovirus was high. Epstein-Barr virus was high. So because of some gut issues he had when he was younger, he then acquired these viral infections he was never able to clear out. And because of this, you can see here his triglycerides were 300. And after going through these 4 steps and going through the thyroid program, his triglycerides dropped down here on the right to 108. And then his thyroid hormone was 5 times more than it should be. It was 4.99. And then afterwards, his thyroid hormone here on the right, T4, was actually 3. So huge difference. He got his job back. His relationship with his girlfriend was on the brink because of these health issues he was having. He's got his relationship back, got his job back, and it was just so fulfilling to be able to see that. And again, that's why I'm so passionate about bringing this online to be able to help as many people as possible. Here's another cool example of gut issues and toxicity issues causing thyroid problems. This is a patient I had losing all of her hair, originally was unable to get pregnant, and just fatigue, gaining weight. She couldn't hardly remember anything, and we end up figuring out it was Hashimoto's, and you can see her antibodies were 322, and we treated her gut, and really got rid of any infections in the gut. And a few months later, thyroid antibodies here you can see went to 243, so down almost 100 points. And then she treated the heavy metal toxicity she had, and we got her antibodies down to 70. Massive difference. You know, she got her hair back, was able to get pregnant, have a healthy birth, brain fog went away. So really cool results. But yeah, we're about to finish up here. We have a few more things to go over and I want to answer some questions you guys have. But please stay on before we finish so you can get that free thyroid ebook. And there's so much information. I can only go over so much on this webinar. So I want to give that to you guys here at the end. So kind of in summary here, causes of thyroid dysfunction. We talked about gut imbalances and how 80% of the immune system's in the gut and 80% of thyroid conditions are autoimmune. So that's foundational, and you can't just eat healthier to get rid of those issues. And that's why I've actually put an entire thyroid program together for you guys, is to videos on how to do the right diet, videos on how to do the stool testing and truly treat the gut. And we talked about toxicity and how it throws your pituitary off and your entire endocrine system when it comes to your thyroid. We talked about adrenals. We're so stressed out and how that affects all of your hormones. And I've put multiple protocols together on how to do saliva hormone testing and how to reduce stress and rebuild your adrenal glands. And I've also put information and protocols together on how to test for infections and specific treatment protocols, how to treat mold, how to treat viral infections, which a lot of people do not know how to do, and bacterial infections as well. So again, those are the 4 things. I promise you guys, if you truly go through all 4 of those things, you will get better. And the order that you treat these things is also extremely important. And I've put all of that together for you. And again, there's only so much information I can go on a webinar. I've actually put this into an entire Thyroid U University program where you guys can do all the treatment that my patients spend $5,000 or $10,000 doing. You can do right on your computer. And so again, really excited for this Thyroid U program we've just launched. And when you address these 4 key components, we guarantee you're going to get better. I've seen it in my patients, I've seen it myself, and I've seen it in my family as well. And the benefits you're going to see when you go through these 4 causations and through the entire program is you're going to increase your energy, you're going to lose weight, you're going to get rid of that brain fog, and you're going to learn the steps to truly heal leaky gut and how to really balance those hormones and also really prevent disease and things like cancer. We've put multiple modules together so it's simple to go through. And really module 1 of the Thyroid University is how to heal your thyroid through diet. And again, it's not just about eating healthier. You need to eat right for your thyroid condition and for your gut condition. So just eating healthier is not enough to reverse this. And what I tell a lot of people when it comes to the diet and the way that you eat, it's not about dieting. It's using the food as medicine. And it's just like if you sprained your ankle. You can't just stop running on your ankle and expect it to heal. You're gonna have to rehab the ankle and go through certain processes. And the same is true when it comes to the gut and the diet. There's certain phases you need to go through to rebuild the gut. And then you can go back to eating healthy. And this is the huge missing link when it comes to people eating better and changing their thyroid condition. And we give you all the videos, resources, guides, shopping lists, cookbooks in order to do that. And then module 2 is doing the right testing and the right supplementation. The testing is so important, guys, because if you're just trying all these protocols, stuff your doctor told you, stuff you found on the internet, you're just guessing. There's certain tests that you need to do, and I have all the guides and special pricing with all the labs to get all the testing done and all the right supplements that you need to take. The devil's in the details, and the testing helps you figure out the details that you've been missing and lets you and tells you, is it a toxicity issue? Is it a gut issue? Is it an adrenal issue? You don't know until you test, and the right herbs and supplements are crucial into treating whatever is wrong. And then module 3 is really about overcoming hidden thyroid disease triggers. And, is that treating Hashimoto's? Is that treating Graves' antibodies? But I put a bunch of very simple, easy to follow guides to treat a virus or an EBV and to treat the gut. So all the specialized protocols that you can't find on the internet, I've put those into guides and videos in the Thyroid University. And not only that, we've added a resources section for question and answers, cookbooks, and every single month we're adding new content to that, and you'll have full access to that. And we have an education section, so you can learn more about the webinar and the things that we've talked about so that you can be your own doctor. Again, I don't want to just tell you what to do. I want you to become your own functional medicine doctor. And in this program, we've included everything for you to, I mean, honestly, you'll know more than 99% of doctors out there after going through this thyroid program. And we put a lot of custom guides and supplement plans together based on your specific thyroid type, whether it's a toxic thyroid, immune thyroid, stress thyroid. But again, we have all the guides and supplements to walk you through that. And I'm a big believer in video because you can read stuff, but it's hard to comprehend a lot of it. So I've put all these protocols and information into video so it's easy to follow each week. And anyone that that registers today for the Thyroid U, we're actually going to include 3 bonuses for you. The first one is by my brother, Dr. Josh Axe. He created bone broth protein powder, and we're going to include his leaky gut cookbook for no extra cost. And then we have Dr. Dustin Vukovic, the Millennial Doc. He's an expert on essential oils, and we have an audio guide on the top essential oils for thyroid health. And then we have the detox guide, Dr. Pompa. He's the doctor of detox, and we have his 90-day detox protocol we're going to include with the Thyroid U. And this is about $350 just in free content we're going to include for anyone that registers and buys today. And we have group training calls because, again, there's a lot of things that come up you just don't understand. We have a Facebook page, we have group training calls with myself that are pre-recorded to get all the answers that you're looking for. And we have instant access online. You have digital access. You can go at your own pace, and you're going to have lifetime access to all this information. It's only going to get better. It's only going to change. And the goal is for one day to this be an entire functional medicine a program, right? This is like telemedicine at your fingertips that's always going to be updated and you're always going to have lifetime access to. The nutrition-based protocols that you need, again, it's not just how to eat, it's eating right for your root cause and how to eat right for your thyroid and your gut. And we have step-by-step video tutorials on how to do things like the GAPS diet, how to do keto, how to do thyroid diets. I mean, everything you need. And we have all recipes that you can download as PDFs as well. And then we also have all the advanced testing in blood work tutorials so that when you go in and see your own doctor, you know how to read your results, you know what results to request. And then we even had educational videos, again, on how to do that. And we have down here all the protocols to address what you find on your blood work or the testing. And we even have special pricing on testing you can do through us if your doctor won't order it. So it's literally everything you guys need from A to Z, supplement guides, special pricing, and all the protocols for your gut, viruses, adrenals, thyroid, etc. So everything you need, and plus we're giving you $350 in that bonus material to go along with it. And again, I'm so excited about this because this is everything you need kind of from A to Z to get over these thyroid issues. And we normally sell this program for $499. And if you're part of this webinar, again, this is our thank you for joining on, educating yourself, being a blessing to other people. So we're actually, for about the next 30 minutes, you can get it for 147 bucks. Okay. And again, I spent 5 or 10,000 seeing functional med docs, doing all this testing, and I feel like I've put all that into this program. And so you can get a lot of what I went through and spent thousands of dollars for just 147 bucks. And guys, this isn't just to make money. A lot of this money goes towards hardship cases, people in my clinic that can't afford care. This goes towards making upgrades to the program and developing this into a full-blown functional medicine program where you have literally all the resources to be your own functional medicine doctor. And guys, the other reason we don't give this out for free, it's just like getting a free gym membership. You don't use it, right? If you pay a little bit for it, you'll feel obligated to actually use the material and implement it in your life. And I know if I just started giving it to people, I'd really be doing them a disservice. And anyways, this is all about helping as many people overcome thyroid issues as possible. So share this with your friends. I don't care. Split up the cost with your friends. We got to get this information out if you want to get over all the thyroid issues. So, um, and again, we actually have a 60-day money back guarantee. If you don't like the program for any reason and and you need to use the money for something else, completely fine. You have 60 days, no questions asked, 100% risk-free. Just ask for your money back and you can use it towards, seeing another doctor or whatever that you find. But again, you'll have it for a full 60 days and to get as much out of it as you want. So again, it's not about the money, guys. It's really about giving you guys the resources you want. And if it's something that doesn't work for you, then, get your money back. So again, you really have absolutely nothing to lose. And I want to kind of end off with a story here. My mom, and she wanted to be there for her grandchildren. That was her driving force. Some of the stuff in this program is not necessarily the easiest thing ever. So you got to be motivated and you got to have a big reason of why you want to do it. And that was my mom. She had brain fog, she had cancer twice, chronic fatigue, getting sick all the time, anxiety, depression, constipated, and now she's in the best shape of her life. And she's an amazing grandma, she's an amazing mom, and she takes care of these two little ones. And this was her driving force to get healthier, guys. And she went through the 4 steps we went over today. She went through the thyroid program. I walked her through it, and she is in such a better place because of it. And guys, I can't stress the importance of that enough. If you're feeling bad and you want to get healthy, this is the answer. It's right in front of you. You just need to take action and do it. And you need to create a good motivational force like my mom had, and that was her grandchildren. Find something to motivate you. Get started on this program and get on with your life, right? So one of the first questions we have is from John, and he wants to know, how do I know this will work for me? I've tried everything. John, that's a great question. And that's really the reason I created this program, is because there's so many people that are even seeing functional medicine doctors and conventional doctors and doing research online and trying different things and just not getting better. And the big difference, they're not addressing the underlying cause. They're doing natural treatments, but they're not doing the correct testing or treatments to treat the cause, right? You can't just treat the thyroid. You have to treat what's causing the thyroid issue. And that is the major difference in this program and why we're helping so many people that have tried everything and have not gotten results, and they've gotten results with our program. And Lynn, she said, I've tried every diet. How is this any different? Lynn, that's a good question. And most of this program really is not diet related. It's advanced testing and advanced supplementation on different protocols that you can't find on the internet. But the module 1 is about the diet, and it's not about a diet. It's about treating the gut and treating the thyroid. And there's specific foods and protocols and stages that you need to go through that you need to use food for. So it's about using food as medicine and treating the thyroid with the food and not just doing a diet. And that's why it's drastically different than any other diet or program that you've done before. Beth, we have one more question. And again, we'll be on here for about another 10, 15, 20 minutes. And so you guys will have time to get the discounted price before I kind of log off here, and then the price will go up to $4.99. But Beth asks, I've had these issues for over 30 years and had my thyroid removed. Is it too late? Beth, I would say a third of my patients don't even have a thyroid. And it's not too late. And if you've learned anything from this, what I want you guys to get out of this is that there is hope for everybody. You cannot lose hope. if you get to the root cause, I promise you, you'll get better. And again, that's why I'm launching this program. You got to go through the four causations. It could take a little bit of time, but I just want to give you guys hope and give you guys the resources that you can start to go through. But the big thing here, Beth, is that there's about 6 processes that have to take place from the brain to your cell for your thyroid hormone to work properly. So just because you don't have your thyroid, there's still areas where your pituitary has to work properly, your hypothalamus has to work properly. Conversion of the thyroid hormone you're taking orally has to be converted and utilized by the cell. Things like toxicity, adrenals, infections will cause issues in that process. So you're still having thyroid symptoms even though you don't have a thyroid. And this program addresses those issues, not just your thyroid. So, and that's why we've helped so many people that don't even have thyroids for that exact reason. So, great question there, Beth. Guys, thank you so much for being on this webinar. I know it's going to change your life. It changed my life. It changed my mom's life. And I just want to get this information out there. And again, that's why during this webinar, thank you for being here, educating yourself. And that's why we've dropped the price down to $147, and it will go back up to $499. But again, thanks for joining on. I hope that helps. And once you get through the program, I know your life is going to be drastically different. You're going to have energy back. Your hair is going to start to come back. Gut issues are going to start to go away. And you're going to start to get the brain capacity that you need to reach your purpose in life and do the things that God called you to do. And again, I truly believe in that. And thank you guys for joining.